Hello, Aquarius. My name is Nigel, and you have found alchemy. Okay, this is your March 2025 reading. Let us get started right away. You have, if I could pick this up, it'd be great. Yeah. So you have the High Priestess, which is, let me just shut my phone off. I just don't want it going off while I am reading. Okay. So you have the High Priestess, which is serious Pisces energy, right? And if you notice, she's sitting in a doorway. And it's like a gateway, right? It's a gateway to the highest source of wisdom there is. It's your inner knowing. Pomegranates symbolize abundance. And I think you're being told to be patient and just know your truth. The letters B and J on the pillars mean in strength, and he establishes. So in strength, he establishes, or she, in this case, establishes. It could be either. In strength, you will establish truth. You will establish your truth. In strength. There is a certain inner strength exuded here. Those pillars represent extremes, right? Like dark and light, day and night, masculine and feminine. Private thoughts and feelings. Duality. Knowledge and acceptance, right? That is what's required to enter this sacred space, to walk through this doorway. Knowledge and acceptance. Almost like a surrender, but a surrender in strength, if that makes sense to you. You also pulled Celestite. And Celestite it says, I hear, I see, I notice, and understand messages from the divine. On the other side, it says, improve spiritual communication skills, interpret signs and symbols, experience connection with angels and spirit guides, feel serenity and calmness. This is a stone of peace. I myself have a beautiful piece of celestite that hold on. I noticed that when I turn my head and I don't talk into the mic, the sound seems to go back and forth, so I apologize for that. Celestite will bring order in chaos. It will help you sleep if you keep it near your bedside. It's very calming energy. It's associated with Gemini and Libra. Not to say it only works with Gemini and Libra, but it's very airy in that way. It does promote awareness. It's a very quiet presence, much like her. A very quiet knowing, a quiet strength. A quiet strength that brings peace. Ironically, one sec. Ironically, you have doorway here. It says, do not let this moment pass by. Do something, say anything, take a chance. Now, yeah, you're being asked to walk through a doorway here. I do think that it's a choice you're going to have to make. It's not something you're going to be forced to do. It is not something that you're going to be required to do, but it is something that you might want to do this month. This is something that you're going to come to grips with. As we move on through the reading, we'll figure it out. You have Nyx here. And Nyx is, wow. So where do we start with Nyx? First of all, Nyx, if you notice, you could see the moon right under her face. So if you look at Nyx, and Nyx in general, in reality, not symbolically, is a moon of Pluto. And as we know, Pluto is ripping through our sign. I say us because I too am an Aquarian. And it can be scary. I mean, for many of us we have read about it, we've listened to videos about it, it can be quite scary, quite life-changing, right? So when Nyx is here, we look at a natural satellite of Pluto. She invites us as an archetype to take a walk in the realm of the shadow. It's very scorpionic, right? Very Pluto-like. To face what lurks in the darkness. Are you ignoring your soul's need to appease others? That could be for one or two of you. Are you acting tough or masking a vulnerability? Do you have a very cool, calm demeanor? Or are you repressing leadership qualities after being told you were bossy? This is your time to walk through this door. You have to discover what needs honest and intuitive eyes, Aquarius. And Nyx is your guide. So I'm going to move through everything and then do your astrology. I just think that's everything up here meaning, all right? You did pull 2 of these cards, and the first is trust in the wise spirits and your prayer will be answered. Do you have spirit guides? Spirit guides could be anything. It could be your ancestors, it could be your angels, it could be God, it could be Jesus, it could be Allah, it could be it literally could be the universe at large if you strictly believe in the law of attraction. But there is wisdom to be, if you turn inward in that shadowy part that nobody could see or feel but you, there's wisdom that lies there. And see, this card says it is time to move forward through the door, Aquarius. You're being presented with a doorway this month. And I don't know how many times this can come out, but it's come out quite a few times already. Of course, I'm going to like set myself on fire trying to straighten these cards out because damn, it drives me crazy, right? You have black art here. And it says, it says, protect yourself against the evil eye, envy, and people wishing you harm. Keep things to yourself. I'm not really sensing somebody trying to wish you harm per se, right? But when this card comes up, it is an indication to keep certain things to yourself. Do the inside work and do it. This is something she does alone. It's time, if you have good things coming to you this month, I think it's best to keep certain things under wraps. Keep things close to the chest this month. This is a very solitary energy. It's a very solitary energy. You have here, wow, it says you're very close to achieving your goal, and this is the gibbous moon. You may have a goal. We all do. But there's been one goal in particular, hasn't there, Aquarius, that has been averting you. It's just been out of your reach. You've been wanting it, you've been feeling it, but it hasn't been close enough for you to just grab onto. And there's going to be some decisions that need to be made this month in order for you to attain that. But what I like about this is that it does stress the gibbous moon, and the gibbous moon is March 15th through the 20th. So look for some sort of forward movement to achieving your goal. Yeah, look for something mid-month. So we're going to look towards this particular stack of cards. So remember that as we're going through it. We're not even close to doing tarot yet, but try to keep that under your hat. You have here Scorpio, and the Scorpio card is number 8 in this deck. And ironically enough, I mean, we don't need to look any further to know that that is Pluto energy, right? Pluto energy coming out over and over again. There is something going on with this Pluto energy, Aquarius, that is forcing you through a doorway. Probably not a good choice of words. That's opening a door for you and asking you if you'd like to walk through. I think you're going to look at this doorway and some of you are going to feel like you need a little push. And some of you are going to walk through it bravely. But there is a positive doorway opening up for you this month, for sure. Okay, so let's move on to your astrology. Okay, not surprising, we pulled your card, Aquarius, along with the Scorpio card. So we have Pluto and Aquarius, right? Let me see if I could straighten this out, because you know how much I hate cards that are crooked. So we have Aquarius. It says, of course, innovative, rational, humanitarian. And that, my friends, is us, right? As far as Aquarius goes, right? Aquarius is the conduit of mystical healing. It's that star card energy, right? Aquarius is the future. It's forward motion in that way, aspiring to change things. Radical thinking sometimes. They have out-of-the-box solutions. They are able to connect dots to affect change and progress. They are focused on the collective rather than the individual. So you may be one star among millions, right? But the actions you take have a ripple effect. Don't be afraid to speak up and share your ideas, your thoughts. Don't be afraid to walk through that door. I really believe something amazing is waiting for you in that door. I'm really happy because last year our readings weren't so good. I mean, listen, maybe you were one of the Aquarians I was not reading for, and your year was amazing. But I can tell you mine wasn't. Mine was very stressful. Mine had a lot of problems. So I was sort of dreading doing Aquarius's readings for 2025, knowing that we had Pluto, in our sign. But I have to tell you, it's been progressively good. So if you're going through a tough time here, Aquarius, please keep the faith. I really believe better things are coming here for us. Okay, the next card we have here is called a quincunx. Quincunx. Dissonance, adjustment, discord. There may be some discord you're feeling. There may be some discord within yourself. There could be. This aspect occurs when two planets are at 150 degrees or 5 zodiac signs apart. It is also referred to as an injunct aspect. In this aspect, the celestial bodies have a hard time relating to each other as they have nothing in common, right? It could create friction. It could create stress. To find this card in your, to find this aspect in your chart, let's say, right? You locate the opposite zodiac sign of a planet and then take note of the two zodiac signs that are neighbors to that opposite sign. Although challenges could arise with this aspect, the important thing to note is that it always gives you an opportunity to better understand the parts of yourself that are producing the inner conflict. So this could be inner conflict. We've had a couple of cards that talked about something that was going on inside. And so we have to keep that under our hats as we move forward because it matters. It matters right here. Let's look at your other two cards. We have opposition and we have medium Kali. So let's look at your opposition first. It says resistance, struggle, polarity. It's very, very similar to this energy, right? So there may be some struggle, and I really think this is internal. This is a very internal energy going on here. I don't feel like someone is doing something to you to make you feel imbalanced or upset. I think that there is a certain struggle going on inside you, and you're being asked to walk through an internal doorway here. With this opposition, we have two celestial bodies that are exactly across the sky from one another at like 180 degrees. This means they are 6 zodiac signs away from each other and share a modality, like cardinal, fixed, mutable. They will additionally reside in compatible elements such as fire, air, or earth, or water. The oppositions are also referred to as zodiac polarities, right? Bringing opposites together for balance. This aspect can present two planets speaking completely different languages, right? Making it difficult to find common ground. However, oppositions lay the groundwork for growth, pushing you outside your comfort zone. Perhaps pushing you through the doorway. And I did use that word or a similar word, right? I said you were being forced. And I said that's probably a bad choice of words. You are being pushed. I think some of you are being pushed through that doorway. You are. Now, as we move on to this medium, Chali. I used to say coli, right? Chali. This is your midheaven. It's the direction. It's your reputation. Now, it's also this midheaven, right? It's in Latin, it means the middle of the sky. This shows you how you can access material success. It is the highest point of your natal chart. It is the top circle of your chart. It acts as the cusp of the 10th house of public recognition, or what crossed the southern hemisphere at the exact moment of your birth. The midheaven is an important aspect because it represents your highest aspirations, while the ascendant is the personality you project outward. The midheaven is the identity that is projected onto you by others. The sign represents the perceived reputation that precedes you. So your reputation, the way other people look at you, is on the table. Now, when we look at your charms, okay, we have the money charm, and the money charm is facing up. I'm pretty sure you got this last month or the month before. This is the biggest money charm in the deck. There is some sort of abundance headed your way. It's not a secret, Aquarius. This is something that is out in the open. Either you know about it already, or it's something you're well aware of, or this is something that is going to be not hidden. Maybe Spirit is asking you to hide this from certain people if you're able to. But you do have here the ice. You're freezing someone out. So money is coming. You're freezing someone or something out. You also have this acorn here. I really love the fact that the acorn came out with the money. That acorn, something is growing, something that has huge potential. Sort of like that Emperor energy or that 10 of Pentacles energy with that acorn, right? You have these three letters. You have SJW. Reminds me of social justice warrior, right? There's SJW, right? You could take those letters individually. Whatever means something to you, right? It could be, I always say, it could be an airport, could be a building, could be a city, could be a state, could be a town, could be someone's obvious initials. Keep an open mind with the letters, but they have meaning here. You also pulled the blank ruin, and this is unlimited potential. You have unlimited potential this month. You're being asked to walk through a doorway. You're being asked to look inside and see truth. Quiet truth. Quiet truth. She knows. The High Priestess is not one to speak too much. She just quietly knows. All right, let's move on to your tarot. Okay, so on leg one here, you have mountain in reverse. It says major challenge to overcome. And this is in reverse. I'm going to do what I always do here, right? Move them over a little bit. So you have a mountain in reverse. You may have thought, Aquarius, that something was going to be a huge challenge, and it isn't. Or perhaps there is something that other people looked at you and said, he or she will never be able to do that. They underestimated you, and you turned this mountain on its ass. You were able to do it. Now, what's fascinating is we are using the star. Pretty sure it's the Star Tarot. If you're interested, yeah, the Star Tarot. Here we go, right? And the meanings of the cards can be a little bit different. They're not always, but they can be. Also, I would say about maybe 20% of the astrological references are different from what other decks are. So I know that many decks have their own correspondences. I know that there's one deck in particular, for instance, that the King of Cups is definitely Sun in Pisces. There's just no other interpretation, where most other decks, they say it's Sun in Scorpio. So when I start to talk about these astrological connections, especially the first one, you're going to be like, what? You have to keep in mind this is a different deck, right? So with that said, we have the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is usually Sun in Aquarius, but in this deck, he is simply Gemini. And that is not something I'm used to. I'm not used to that at all. Yeah. So you have, but the important thing here is that you have the King of Swords, and He is, especially in this deck, he's the father of intellect, clarity, and perception. When he shows up, he indicates a time of moving in a new direction with purpose and that clarity again, right? He signals a time to trust your inspirations. He puts new ideas into action. He encourages you to follow your truth, not anyone else's, yours. He's very shrewd. He's very analytical. He is very balanced. His sword cuts both ways. Interesting. Very interesting. So you have here also, next card up is the Four of Cups coming in sideways. Now, the Four of Cups in this deck is Neptune in Cancer, reflection, meditation. Keep in mind this is a different deck. If this was Rider Waite, there would be very different meanings. When this card shows up, you may feel out of sync. You may feel apathetic. It's that old definition of the card, right? But when it's sideways, you are trying to decide whether you have had enough of something, whether something feels off or not. But you're not quite sure. You're not quite sure. That's why this is coming in sideways. You're trying to figure out, have I finally had enough? Or am I at the precipice of something and I need to forge on? Whatever it is you decide to do, you have the Queen of Pentacles following this card. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is usually Saturn in Capricorn in other decks. And I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop saying, hey, it's usually this in another deck. I'm just trying to I'm trying to underline the fact that it is different. Now, in this deck, the Queen of Pentacles is straight up Taurus energy. She is the queen, especially in this deck. She's the queen of manifestation. She brings the gift of abundance, material gain, very, very Empress-like, right? She symbolizes pregnancy. That pregnancy could be symbolic or it could be literal, but she has the symbolism of pregnancy, of giving birth to something, of carrying something valuable, of manifesting something into existence. When we add this up and we break it down, Aquarius, we get Uranus, which is your planet. It's the planet of change, the planet of freedom, the planet of creativity, pregnant with possibility for you. Pregnant with possibility. Fascinating. All right, let's move on to leg 2. Very, very much like the mountain, you have the hills in reverse, and it says obstacles to overcome. This says major challenge to overcome. So leg 2, it's pretty much the same energy, right? It is something that perhaps other people looked at you and said that he or she can't do this. They underestimated you, right? But it's more of the same, or it's something that, maybe you didn't think you could get through. But man, you're turning these hills and these mountains on their asses, Aquarius. You are. You have, starting out this leg, the Six of Wands. And even in this deck, the Six of Wands is Jupiter and Leo energy. And it is a beautiful wand card, right? The sun is shining, and this card brings good fortune, recognition. This is a reward card. A gift of this card is believing in yourself, living life without fear as you move forward in confidence. Right next to that king, right next to that clarity, that strength. So you have strength, success, clarity. One moving straight into the other. In the center of your reading, and this is the energy that everything else revolves around. It's the center of your whole reading. You have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. This is Venus and Taurus energy. Now, for this to come out at all, let me move this over here. So for this to come out at all here, Aquarius, it is, all right, let's talk about upright. Upright, it is someone who is experiencing financial loss, right? Something has put you in survival mode, fear of destitution, uh, rejection, abandonment, loss. This card is in reverse. And it's suggesting that you have pulled yourself out of the muck. You may have been in this muck. You may have been living through this muck. It may have been self-doubt. It may have been fear. It may have been fear of financial loss, or it may have been actual financial loss. It could be loss in any way, but it is in reverse now. There is a decision you made in the past that maybe it's a decision some of you are making this month. Could be any time. But there is a decision you've made that turned this Five of Cups around. And this could be this decision here with the Four of Cups, right? We said that this was a decision. It is literally not only right next to the Five of Cups, but it's consecutive. So there may be a decision you make here at the first leg of your month that has a deep impact on not only your mid-month, but your whole reading. Positive energy, though. If you're going to get the Five of Pentacles, damn it, get it in reverse, right? Now, this leads us straight into this Knight of Swords energy. And this is another card that is coming in sideways. So this is another decision or situation that you're not quite sure about, right? At least not initially. Now, interestingly enough, in this deck, that is straight up Libra energy. This knight has, for his shield, has the Wheel of Fortune for his shield. And that is very Jupiterian energy, right? This knight carries a message from a divine source, right? He is articulate, he is direct, he channels energy that is so powerful it comes on like a lightning bolt, which is, you can see the lightning bolts in the sky. His sword is drawn, he's moving forward. It can be overwhelming. It surges of inspiration, right? Yeah, with the sideways placement, there is a decision involved here. Your destiny calls you, Aquarius, with that Wheel of Fortune. That is a destiny symbol. And you seem to be making boss moves. There is boss moves. I mean, look at all these cards. Yeah, look at all these cards. I'm really, like, happy for us. Yeah. So when we add this up and we break it down, we get 11, which is great, right? That's a bridge number, bridging one end of one cycle to the beginning of another, a cardinal number. It is definitely a master number. It is, you're building something with your bare hands here. And I love that energy for you. So when we move on to your next leg, you have the rabbit here. And the rabbit's coming in sideways. It says too much concern with sexual matters. Sexual matters could be literal sexual matters. It could be passion. But it could be passion that has nothing to do with sex. It could be it's going to be different for all of you, right? But there is something very passionate here on the table that you're going to have to make a decision about, okay? And this is towards the end of the month. You have the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is right next to the King of Swords, the Six of Wands. I mean, the Eight of Wands is Jupiter in Sagittarius, right? Wow. I just looked at the other cards. All right. So you have Jupiter in Sagittarius next to the King of Swords and the Six of Wands. This is a wonderful pattern of events. You feel highly energized. This is a time to accept this highly positive and quick moving change because it is going to happen very quickly, Aquarius. Yeah, you have this Jupiter and Sagittarius energy leads straight into the Ten of Pentacles. So in this deck, the Ten of Pentacles is Venus in Virgo. But it's the same, it's success, it's abundance, it's wealth. It launches you into a new stage with that 10. It's favor. It prepares you for a time. It sort of prepares you to cross the portal, aka walk through that door, cross the portal of the next cycle of discovery. It's a bridge. We talked about the bridge in the number 11, right? The bridging number. And we're also talking about that doorway. You walking through a doorway. Yeah. This leads us into these two cards, which are both coming in sideways, right? The first one is the Two of Cups. It's a decision you're going to have to make. And I'm telling you, for some of you, this is definitely a relationship because you have that rabbit there. For others of you, this is the coming together of two parts of yourself, right? A part of you that you may have put in a jar on a shelf. A part of you that's the shadow side, that Pluto side of yourself that you choose not to look at. It could be anything like that, but there is something coming together, and it's coming together in a positive way, whether it is a relationship or not. But there's decisions scattered throughout this reading that you're going to have to make, right? You're going to be that co-creator. You're not just going to be a victim, or you're not going to be an onlooker. You're going to be a co-creator of what's going on here. And you have the Two of Cups and the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords in this deck is quite different. Very different from other decks, right? The Two of Swords is Venus and Libra energy. The Two of Swords in this deck signals a withdrawal, right? Or as a sideways card, a possible withdrawal, depending on what you decide, right? A withdrawal from distractions that surround you, right? Problems, distractions. A choice needs to be made. The Two of Swords, in this deck anyway, brings truth and reconciliation to a predicament by maintaining the inner balance, right? Heart and mind. Which will you choose? There's going to be a choice here. And for many of you, this choice has to do with a person. For others of you, this choice has to do with the inner working. Are you going to choose something? There is a choice you have to make, something that you were, because even this came in sideways, something you're passionate about. Could it be a goal? It could be. Could it be a person? Definitely could be a person. For many of you, it's a person. There's a certain a passion. For some of you, it's reawakening. And for others of you, it's leveling up. But there is a passion here on the table. Now, being that you have two number twos, what's fascinating is the High Priestess is also number 2, right? That intuitive truth we talked about. Twos bring the beginning of integration and creation. Integration and creation. Now, when we add this up and we break it down, we get Uranus again. You. That change, that creative energy. Thinking outside the box, doing the Aquarius thing. That's helping you through it. You have Aquarius over here. You have two columns with Uranus in it. You have Pluto many, many times. It's that Pluto and Aquarius energy. Asking you not to fear it. Asking you to use it. Utilize it, Aquarius, because for whoever's reading this you can use it for your advantage. You absolutely can. Now, if we look at the challenges on the table, you see, am I going to have enough room to do what I usually do? Let's see. We have here in your challenges, it says plenty of material things. Yes, you have the opportunity to have plenty of material things, but you're going to have to make these choices. This is coming in sideways. Maybe some of you are going to choose something other than material things. There is a choice you're going to have to make. It's here for you, though. I mean, you have this and you have this. And so if that's what you're going to choose, that's what you're going to get. But there may be something else here. And you may have to choose, right? Let's look at all these cards. I'll look at these one at a time. Here, you have the Five of Cups here in reverse. As you can see, these cards flip, right? So It's not actually in reverse. Interesting. This would be the 5 in reverse. Okay, so you have the 5 of Cups here. And the 5 of Cups is Mars and Scorpio energy. So you're going to have to walk away from something. Yeah. You have 4 of Cups here, 5 of Pentacles here. There is something going on that you're going to have to walk away from. What is it? What is it? It is something necessary. It's part of you that you have to leave behind. It may be, there is something going on here. Let's keep going before I start rambling, okay? You have the 2 of Wands coming in next, and this is in reverse, right? Mars and Aries energy, overanalyzing, avoiding risk, thinking too much about something. Definitely overthinking. And this leads into these 2 energies. Now, this is your challenge column. This doesn't mean these are insurmountable. It just means this is what might be more of a challenge this month. Once you push through them, you push through them. So you have here the 8 of Wands, which is fascinating in reverse. And you also have the Page of Wands, right? So we have the 8 of Wands here on your last leg. It's going to be a challenge to move forward, right? But you're going to do it. You have the 8 of Wands. It's Mercury and Sagittarius. We saw that on your 3rd leg, right? There is a forward motion. There is a forward movement that's going to present a challenge to you. You might decide, you see how he's looking forward on this side? And he tends to look back. And so he crashes into the gate. He's still going, right? But it doesn't look easy. It does not look like an easy time. This is a challenge. You're going to move forward, but it looks like you do look back at something. You do go through this doorway, but you pause to look back at something. You have the Page of Wands here in the upright. Page of Wands is Jupiter and Sagittarius, and this is fresh ideas, excitement, adventure. It's what's waiting for you after you pass this gate, after you pass this fence. Hold on one second. Let me get this. Yeah. So as you pass this, it is waiting for you on the other side, that newness, that excitement, that spark. And when we add this up and we break it down, we get Venus energy, which makes sense, right? Because I told you for some of you, it's definitely love related. So Venus can be love, or it also can be our career, our money. Definitely. It's that Taurus Libra energy, right? So it will be a challenge, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to break through it, because he's doing the forward movement either way. But what, Aquarius, what are you looking back at? You pause to look back. What is it? What are you looking at? Let's look at your opportunities. We have money path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it as an opportunity. Yeah. You're going to get through something. You're going to pause to look back at something. But ultimately, Aquarius, you're going to move forward. Yeah. Walk through that doorway. Definitely walk through that doorway. Pull all of these up because there's not as many. Okay, so we have here justice in reverse. And being that this is a different deck, this is straight up Libra energy, right? Now with this in reverse, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to address an imbalance, something unfair that may have gone down that you're trying to understand and get past and really get the gist of it, right? You're trying to understand the extent of a past injustice. What was the extent of it? You may know that something bad happened to you. You may understand that somebody did you dirty, but I think that you're going to be uncovering some truths this month. And I think that lightening your load is going to lead to money that came up twice, a reward of sorts, right? You may be also delighted by some sort of new passion that shows up in your life. It looks like a month of rewards for you. So you have here, the next card up is the Knight of Wands, which is Jupiter in Sagittarius. And I really like that energy for you. It's self-assurance, right? It's an opportunity for self-assurance, confidence, willingness to take action, right? That Jupiterian optimism is here waiting for you. I think once you adopt that, you open the door to other things. You open your door to things that have very strong future. And you have here the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And the Eight of Pentacles in reverse is Sun in Virgo. But more than that, you, as an opportunity, will stop working on something. It's either not giving you what you need, or it's not being fruitful, or you're in working on it. It may be something that's going around in your head. Even if you're not consciously working on it, it's still taking up space in your head. And I think that the opportunity here is to stop that and to change directions, to change focus, to walk through a doorway for many of you, okay? And ironically, Aquarius, when we add this up and we break it down, we get Pluto, we get 10, that transformation, that Pluto energy that many of us are afraid of. That's going to come in and change our direction, change direction for us. I really like that. I really like that energy for you. I'm going to pull one of my Nordic cards. We'll do that as an overarching energy. And then we'll end the reading, but then we will do your numerology for the month. And that's how we'll end things. For Aquarius, please, for March 2025. Okay. And you have pulled Brook. It says master craftsmanship and diligence. Hopefully that's focusing. Master craftsmanship and diligence. In Swedish, that means to use or employ. We just talked about that, right? We talked about using that Pluto energy instead of being victim to it or feeling like we could be a victim to it. Utilizing it, right? Almost like the magician utilizes all those tools. Use it as a tool. So in Swedish mythology, Brooke is a blacksmith, right? He's actually the best there is. He's brother to a Sindri, like a dwarf, to be honest with you. And together they made many magical treasures worn by the gods. Interesting. When you think about the correlation. He created Odin's self-replicating arm ring and Frisia's necklace. He also made a ultra light fetter. I'm trying to not go off on a tangent because it's very easy for me to do that, right? But the bottom line is, right, his name suggests that he is always on the move. He never is in a standstill. In a spread, he represents mastery in making things and diligence in work ethic. The work and doing it well is part of its own reward, right? But his presence in a spread, either for the seeker or your environment, right? It's a reminder to keep moving and keep working. Keep moving. Keep going. Go through that doorway. Just do it. You may pause to look back. But after that, I need you to turn your head and walk through the doorway. There are things waiting for you on the other side of this doorway, Aquarius, that I don't know. I think some of you are afraid. Some of you have fear. Not all of you. But some of you have fear of what's on the other side of it. Do not be fearful of the doorway. Be fearful of the stagnation of not walking through the doorway. Keep moving. Keep moving. If you need some calming energy this month, get yourself a small piece of celestite. It's not expensive as long as you're getting the real thing. And you know, the real thing cannot be found on Temu, and it cannot be found on Amazon. And I don't sell it. So I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I am trying to tell you a brick and mortar store that sells a tiny little piece that you can carry with you or keep on your nightstand. Perfect. As far as your numbers go, we look at this. When we look at like all the numbers and we add them all up, we get number 8. And that number 8 is Saturn, right? It is your other ruler, but it is that hard. It's the harder one, right? It is lessons, hard work. There's going to be something you find a little difficult this month, but it's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. Don't pause. Well, you can pause for a second, but don't let that stop your forward movement. Continue to walk through that door, okay? As far as numbers go, the number 8 was mentioned the most, and we just mentioned it was Saturn, right? Also, the number 2 was mentioned the most. I mean, they were pretty much even, and that is the moon. Things might not be crystal clear at every point this month, but your intuition will guide you. It will guide you through this time. Your lucky numbers are 8, 2, 11, 4, 6, and 10. The signs we mentioned: Libra, Sagittarius, Virgo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Libra, Cancer, Gemini, and Leo. The sign that we mentioned the most was Sagittarius. It's that Jupiter energy, that expansive energy, right? Now the planets, there were 2 planets we mentioned the most, and that was Jupiter. And that doesn't surprise me, right? You are being pushed through a doorway. Something is expanding and pushing you, right? And hoping that you take that doorway and that you don't get squished. I really believe that. Walk through the doorway, Aquarius. Venus energy was also mentioned second most, and that, you know, is love and your sexuality, and it's also your money, your goals. So definitely let me know what this means to you, Aquarius. I'm always interested in what fellow Aquarians have to say about the energies that surround them, but doorway seems to be a big freaking deal in this reading. I wish you nothing but the best. Namaste.